Hello viewers, my name is Philip Katakenga and together is Sam Muleme. Today we are to discuss about the jurisprudence of law, the evolution and development of the laws in Uganda. My brother Samuel Muleme, please proceed.
Today I want to talk about the jurisprudence of law, how law came into existence from time to time. We shall get to see that Greece as a country played a bigger part in law development in the whole world. This is where we see that at first law was fused with religion. Law and the church were very, very close. They were one, they were intertwined. You shall find that law was understood in the form of commandments. You get, each religion had its own commandments. In Greece, they had their different gods. You shall get to see gods like Athens, Zeus, and so forth. And they believed that whatever came from these gods was the law and was the divine principle. You get, so people had to abide by such. It's as I've said, it was fused with religion, and therefore to differentiate them, it was a hard task, and it was something not simple. But now we have to get to see how law later came into existence. As time passed, there was emergence of different philosophers of different categories, whereby from their thinking they agitated for the independence of law from religion. We shall see philosophers like John Locke, Thomas Hobbes, Jean-Jacques Rousseau. You get, these ones developed the social contract doctrine, whereby the social contract doctrine, in other words, it's an agreement between the people and their leaders. It's the people who choose their leaders, those who are going to lead over them. You understand? Through such, to enlighten more about social contract, you shall find that people were migrating from different areas, but then they settled in a particular area to form one group of people which can simply be understood as a community. You understand? But for proper organization, it necessitated someone to guide them throughout. Laws had to be brought into existence, but who was going to formulate the law? You understand? So people started to develop some ideas. Maybe we should get someone to guide us. You understand? To tell us what to do. You understand? Whereby we can entrust our authority with such a person. It's after that these people chose their own leaders. You get? And these leaders were the ones making laws. Because as people settled in different areas to make a particular community, you shall find that some came as families, some as individuals, and they settled in you get, we can call them plots. You understand? Whereby they had to survive, to plant crops, what and what. So they formed some small boundaries, whereby it necessitated for law to guide these people, whereby someone could not interfere with the other person's land. So the social contract doctrine came into existence. And the leading philosophers, as I've told you, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Thomas Hobbes, and John Locke, they are the philosophers behind this. But then we had another group of philosophers that emerged in Greece and later in Rome. These countries played a bigger part in the legal arena. Europe came in the later years by these two countries, Rome and Greece. Rome was influenced by Greece, you get. So Greece is the cradle land of law. It's the origin, you get. So you shall get to see that other philosophers emerged. Amongst them was people like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, you get. These were classified into two groups. We had the naturalists and positivists. Naturalists, we had the kind of Thomas Aquinas. Naturalists had four principles they believed in. One, that law was natural. Two, law was divine. Three, law was eternal. Four, law was human. And maybe the other thing is that it was universal. That is an addition. It was universal, you get. Whereas for the positivists, we had the leading philosopher behind positivism was John Austin. For positivists, they believed that law came from the sovereign. The sovereign was the leader. Law was backed up by sanctions, you get. In other words, these are punishments. For failure to abide by the law, you are punished. Then the other thing is that law was written down, you get. In other words, it can mean to be posted, you get. Then law was made for the inferior. That means the superior made this law so that the inferior could follow. So in other words, that draws a line between naturalists and positivists. For the naturalists, they believed the law came from God, whereas for the positivists, they believed the law came from the people. It's the people that made the law. When I talk about the naturalists, meaning that law came from God, what I'm trying to bring out is that law came from a supreme being, you get. Remember, we had a variety of religions, you understand. Some believed I've told you the Greeks had the Athens, Zeus, and so forth, you get. So they believed their law came from such a supreme being. Whereas for the positivists, the rulers, to connect this with the social contract doctrine, these rulers are brought into power by the people, you get. So after being brought into power by the people, they formulate these laws, you understand. That's where we come to positivism. This law is created by the people, they put it in writing, it is backed up by sanctions for failure to abide by, you get. Further, on positivism, you shall find that the leaders have authorities that make sure that these laws are followed by the people. We shall see an example of the police, you get, whereby if you disobey, they can punish you severely, you understand. So we've seen the four principles in the naturalism school of thought and then in the positivism school of thought, and how it came about, you get. So such philosophers emerged, you understand. And then we also had philosophers such as Hans Kelsen. This one formed the pure theory of law. This one believed that law is as it is, but not as it ought to be, you get. In other words, for him, he believed that you follow the law as it is, but not as you think it had to be, you understand. Talk about taxes, you get. The government recent back sometimes created the OTT. This is a tax whereby these people who use social media had to pay it, you understand. You can complain that it is not relevant, but if you intend to use the social media, you had to pay this tax, you get. What it ought to be is your own reasoning, and what it is what the law is, you understand. And Hussein, his element of pure theory, it meant that the law doesn't have to be influenced by neither religion, economics, the social character of people, and the political reasons. You get, in other words, law had to be in its own caliber, not influenced by anything. You get. So through such, countries came on developing. We talked earlier about Aristotle. Law became logical in his times, whereby the scientific part of it was developed, in that law itself is a collection, it's a process, you understand, whereby we can look at, let's say, these laws are written down, but then we look into the investigations. You get, let's say this, whereby if a person has been detained for a crime, you get, he is given a bail, one for the reasons to allow this person to create defense. But you create defense by getting all the evidence, you get. So this is a process. Then we had the likes of Plato, you get. They had their theory as well of copper, gold, and silver, you get. For gold, they believed that gold was a group of people who had dreams and they were the topmost leaders. Then copper, they were these people would help them fulfill their dreams. And then silver, they are the ones who are supporting these two groups, the silver, the copper, and then the gold. We can, if we are to bring it in line with the relevance in Uganda's legal system, the gold would be the president, and the people who would help him fulfill what he desires is the parliament. But then the common man is the one who pays taxes. You get. So the common man supports the president and the members of parliament. You get. Because when talking about this law, if let's say we are talking about the relevance of positivism theory in Uganda, we can see that the constitution is written down. You understand? We can as well see that we have the penal code